Cześć, witajcie w kolejnym filmie na kanale. Dzisiaj zagramy sobie Skirmisha, już po mistrzostwach świata, tylko jeszcze gra top 4. Oskar gra top 4, mega trzymamy kciuki, podobne jest na streamie przeciwko Lukowi Kukowi. Oskar, wierzymy, że staniesz mistrzem. A ja dzisiaj zagram sobie Skirmisha, także już na spokojnie, dla zabawy. Dalej będę grał łukimi z Chieftainem, z trzema oddziałami łuki bijących, z rekonintelami, jeden chyba tam z Battle Shieldami, jeśli dobrze pamiętam, mam gdzieś tam listę, i 2 razy overrunujące flutery, bo nie miałem okazji zagrać na tych nowych, wiecie, atak craftach, na overrunach, także będę grał. Wybaczcie za mój głos, ale było, powiedzmy, fajnie ostatnio, także głos może troszeczkę siadać. Ale dodagram dla Was relacje, postaram się po każdej grze coś powiedzieć, jak nam poszło. I taki dodatkowy content, jakby nie patrzeć. Macie dodatkową relację z Adepticonu, tak? Z turnieju skirmishowego, także no, dzisiaj już gramy dla zabawy czysto. Jakby, co będzie, to będzie. Jak będzie, tak będzie. Byle, żeby się dobrze bawić i będziemy zaczynać, bo już mówię, już zaczynamy. Jestem po pierwszej grze, trafiłem na Krenika z 2 Stormami z T21. Snowami, z Flamethrowerem, Grantami, no i Dark Trooperami. To co mogłem zrobić, nie? Nie było szans tego wygrać, no. Jeszcze graliśmy na tym kółkowatym rozstawieniu, co niby jest dla mnie dobre. Graliśmy Control i Clear Conditions. Ale 3 strzały Darków w pierwszej rundzie. Jak wiecie, standby, którego się nie dało minąć. No, to było takie na zasadzie, jeśli go wybiję tam więcej, to może wygram. W pierwszej rundzie ja skorowałem, drugi on zeskorował, bo ja już nie miałem po aktywacji. 5. po prostu poszedł table. Także no, na początku miał troszkę słabsze rzuty w obronie, a potem już tam rzucał cały czas obrony na Stormach, więc no, nie szło nic robić. No ale to, tak jak mówię, tego się spodziewałem. Nie da się wygrać na coś takiego, na double darki tą listą, nie mam impactów, mam jeden impact w grze, także no, zadałem jedną ranę w darki, bo próbowałem jakiś tam raz zatrzymać walce, ale nie idzie tego zrobić. A w razie tak mówię, taki tam turniej dla zabawy, żeby sobie, wiecie, trochę więcej biletów zgarnąć, jakieś nagrody, także na pierwsza do tyłu, jest okej. Zagram sobie teraz jakąś tam drugą na kogoś, potem trzecią, dałem wam jak poszło, może uda mi się pójść na ten roadmap, bo będzie jakaś przerwa obiadowa, zobaczymy, mam nadzieję, że tak. No, mówię, taki luźny turniej, już po mistrzostwach, tak no. Jesteśmy po drugiej grze, graliśmy na zabijanie, przeciwnik miał Obi-Wana, Padmę, 2 klony, face jedynkowe, puste, jedne z medykiem, znaczy się, jedna pusta. I Ark Trooperów ze Sniperem i z Outmaneuverem. No to wygrałem, no table poszedł. Ja tam straciłem tylko Fluttercrafta, jakieś pojedyncze modele, także no. Obi-Wan blankował, jak guardianował, potem dobił go Flutter z overruna, także no. Także się udało wygrać, fajnie, 10 tiketów wyleciało. Teraz będzie przerwa, pójdę sobie na panel z roadmapem i tam jakaś 13:15 zaczynamy ostatnią, trzecią grę, więc kolejne tikety się zgarnie i no. I pójdę jakieś nagrody czaić, nie? Jakieś nagrody, jakieś tam rzeczy się weźmie, kostki, może karty promo, zobaczymy. Dobra, słuchajcie, nagram wam tutaj roadmapa, dodatkowy content, ale zaczyna się od Shatterpointa, więc skipnę to i zaczniemy od Legionu.
So for Star Wars Legion in our roadmap, we have some exciting things to share. We have a couple of card previews that I know people have been clamoring about, and we have not shared yet because we wanted to save them for this moment, where we can share them in person with all of you. It's going to start with the Range Troopers. So of course, Thrawn solo a Star Wars story with their cool genetic boots.
60 points for 1 to 4.
Cards are initiative internally to begin to expand kind of the traditional roles and thoughts about where units would fall. So I think, you know, a couple of years ago we would have expected the Range to be special forces, but starting with the Dark Troopers, we really wanted to say, okay, there are all these other slots in the Legion. Adding more options and opportunities to those increases the diversity of
They've got
ability,
speed 1,
lets
okay.
players like really start to customize their force. And for
Speed
us,
1.
more of the canon behind
But
Range
Spur,
Troopers
they got
blend
Spur.
into the support slot. So they're going to be added as a support option for Imperial players. same idea. A new support slot for Galactic Republic is the Clone Commandos. The Clone Commandos have quite a few things going for them. They, of course, are very durable. They have the Katarn pattern armor, which is very sweet. These were worked through by our own Andrew Dursom. He had a lot of fun working with the variable armaments that their DC-17M ICWS blaster carbine allows. So they do have some cool rules where they can swap, and you'll see on the miniature side, we did sculpt it in a way, and I think Dallas has talked about this before, where you have the options to do all of the different configurations of all the different troopers. So you can kind of build the squad to suit whatever weapon style you feel is best or works best on the tabletop for you. Those will be coming out in May. And then we have the next one, which folks who played in or at least the basic unit part, but this is another one that was really fun to work on internally and that Andrew Dursom had a lot of work to do on, because the question became, how do you represent a character unit in Legion? How do you make each individual feel unique? How do you take that idea of this team of the Bad Batch and translate it into a large-scale combat game that is mostly focused on units without having each character be individual? So the solution, as people have kind of figured out now, is you get a lot of heavy weapon slots, and you have to equip all of them to make a unit. I know folks have been wondering where or what or if the Rebel Alliance version of these characters was a real thing. It is. As the Omega counterpart card here shows, they will be mercenaries that are allowed in Rebel Alliance lists. Is only usable in that version of the squad as a counterpart. So we're very excited to see these hit the tabletops and have players really get the chance to kind of explore what this unique operative unit can do, and you'll get your chance in July of 2024. Looking a little bit forward towards the end of the year, these ones are very special to us. This unit, again, sculpted by our own Alex internally.
Nice.
And if you saw the bumpers that we had on the prize wall, you might have seen the full piece of the two pieces of art that we're going to be showing, where our Rebel Sleeper Cell unit is fighting the Imperial Right Control Squad, which we're going to get to next. Amazing piece, art directed by our own Preston Stone. Showing kind of the narrative and the visual idea behind this. These two units that we're going to show next are really special to AMG because they were a chance for us to work with LFL and our partners over there on the Star Wars stuff closely to say, okay, let's take some core concepts and ideas, things we've seen sporadically throughout the different media, the TV shows, the movies, the novels, everything else, and come up with a way to kind of solidify those ideas, the idea of like a sleeper cell, that we see in maybe Andor, right? The group of people who rise up against the Empire and use their ability to blend into the society or the culture that they're in and strike from the shadows, do sabotage, do guerrilla tactics. How do we represent that in Legion to bring something new to the Rebel Alliance players? And so working through that, we got some really cool ideas. We were able to do some really fun stuff. We're going to talk a lot more about the details of that come Mini Stravaganza in July. But it was a blast to be able to do that. We love it when LFL kind of lets us play a little bit and works with us to create something that's slightly new, or a new concept in that. And one of the best parts of that is when you get to do something thematic and then you get to play test it and see the story unfold before your eyes. And so when these fine folks, depending on your point of view, are causing problems and blowing things up in the neighborhood, who you're going to call? You're going to call the Imperial Riot Control Squad. And again, this was a concept that came about from a lot of different things that we've seen in media, on order as well, on the video game side. Things in Andor, and the idea was that they control groups exist, how would they really function in a game like Legion, how do we bring them together for the full unit? The addition of the K2 security droids was really inspired by what we see in Andor when he gets arrested.
So more shoots in the job.
Loves the K2 droids. Been asking since the very start how he gets more of them into his Empire army. And this unit is definitely the way. So you can attach two of them to the unit through the upgrade cards. And these stormtroopers are pretty brutal once they get in there with their shock batons and their riot control shields. So they add some serious core melee punch to Galactic Empire armies.
Wow. Yeah, cool.
And there's nothing better than being up. No, you're showed this crabby boy last extravaganza, but here he is in all his paint glory. He'll also be released projected Q4 2024. You will get 2 in the pack as well, so you can do any of the 2 weapon options that he'll come with. And what can you say? He's a crab droid. He's a small crab droid, not the big crab droid, but he's the best crab droid. And we can't wait to see them all over the place. This pack here, oh, and I should say the crab droid was Evan, yes. So going back, the Rag Control Trooper Squad was Evan, right? Yeah. Okay. I want to make sure I'm giving the props to the Control Trooper. Who leads our team of engineers has been with us almost all 5 years now of our existence, which is an amazing marker to hit for us as a student and everything. He excels and loves making robotic or mechanical hardline things, so we're really fortunate to have him do that. The terrain pack here, one of our big pushes, and the thing that we always want to make sure is that our battlefields that we play on that are so important to the game experience are thematic, that players have access to critical pieces of terrain. I think we can all agree that the old barricade pack was great. It did what it needed to do, but maybe we're a little tired of seeing those barricades. Maybe we want diversity in our barricades. So this box was a passion project internally where we said, okay, how do we create a system of terrain that can add more barricades to players' collections in interesting and visual ways, can add ruins and rubble and things like that. So all of the things you see here, which this isn't the complete box, it's just kind of an example setup, is customizable. So each little break in the wall section, you can assemble those in different ways. You can make long walls, you can make curved walls, you can make little courtyards and things like that. You can have fully destroyed buildings. There's a lot of potential in this to customize it for what you need or what you want for your tabletops. Very excited to see things pop up next year at Adepticon and how they change the table environment. But it was a fun one to work on. And of course, terrain is so important to creating and setting the stage for where we play. And then...
Aqua droids. It's aqua droids.
So, the Aqua Droids is a brand new CIS unit that's going to be coming. I cannot really explain you how big these things are.
They will be really glad they come to the beach on this.
I turned to Evan, who had sculpted them, and said, "What did you do? Because you obviously did these wrong." Because we all thought they'd be, Dark Trooper size. They're not. They are massive and they are amazing, and so you'll notice they're on the notch bases. That kind of gives you an idea for how chunky these boys are. Very fun, exciting stuff. We're really looking forward to finishing the process on them, showing off the painted miniatures, and then getting into what they do on the tabletop. It's pretty brutal. Next one that's in the future.
Yes! Finally!
Sponsored by our own engineer Kevin, who is and all the characters will be coming to add some. Yeah, see? That's all I needed. I just needed one person around, and then I can keep going. So the ARC Troopers are going to be a great unit that will add some additional options to Galactic Republic. But I think the thing that really makes them exciting to players will be the next slide, which is the attachment that goes with it. So one of our big pushing points, and you're going to see this kind of evolve over the coming releases as we push even more into the future. In 2025, just to note, is going to be a big year for us. We're kind of right on the cusp of a big explosion of a lot of things. We've been working really hard on. We mentioned at last year's extravaganza the whole idea of we're taking all of the soft plastic Legion releases and we're moving them into hard plastic. We have a lot of really killer new sculpts and new characters, and new releases and stuff. And if you caught the That's No Moon interview that I did, we talked a bit about faction identity and pushing into faction identity. And what does that mean, and how do we make these different 4 factions very unique and interesting alongside battle forces? We've been doing a lot of work internally that's finally coming to fruition. Again, we always mention how our timeline cycles are 2 years from concept to completion. Sometimes big projects take a little longer. But this is a bit of a view into the explosion of Legion stuff that you're going to start seeing come next Adepticon when we're together. We're going to have a lot of really cool stuff that'll be finally ready to show. This little guy, though, is the start of that idea, and moving more and more non-named Jedi, more sabers into Galactic Republic forces who want to go. He does come with the ARC Troopers, but he's also attachable to the ARC Troopers, so your special forces get a lot of Jedi lightsaber support. And then next slide. Mike Jones, of course, Mike Jones. Because his name's so fun to say. So our sculptors manager who coordinates and works with all of our amazing freelance sculptors, Mike Jones, he actually did this new Obi-Wan resculpt. So again, I mentioned that we've been talking a lot about this big project we've undertaken to replace all of these soft plastic miniatures over the course of the next few years into hard plastic. Obi-Wan, it was time. He needed a new, fresh look. And Mike just killed it. The likeness is one of the best Ewan McGregor likenesses that I've ever seen. It looks amazing in miniature, not just blown up on the screen. It's crazy. And yeah, we're really excited about the possibility. Of course, if you're going to have a new Obi-Wan, it's probably time to do a little update to his.
New card.
It's bigger now. Even though Grievous wasn't part of plastic, he was sculpted at the time. When we were still learning the process. All of the sculpting systems we had today, it was a new system, it was a new material. And so it turned out really well for the time. We knew that we could have our own Bexley, who has worked on Armada, X-Ray, lots of strap on frame, and done a lot of good stuff. And talk about all the things that we're going to get to show here in the coming year, because of how timelines kind of work and stuff. And Bexley, we were having a conversation where it's like, it's been a long time since they've shown any of my stuff, because like I did a lot of things, but they've taken a while. So next year I'm going to be calling out Bexley like 4, 5, 6, 7, 20 times. It's going to be like every slide of it. Bexley did this, and Bexley did this. So he's amazing. We love him. And he did this Grievous here. So of course there are multiple pose options for Grievous. You can build them a couple different ways. Kind of nod back to the way it was before. So these will be coming in summer of 2025. Similar to the resculpts for the Commandos and the Rebel Troopers, Stormtroopers that we showed off at Mini-Strap last year. So lots of work happening behind the scenes, lots of exciting developments. We're going to be sharing a lot more of that stuff as we get closer. So July Mini-Strap 2024 coming up. Watch for those dates. If you're interested in Legion, we have some pretty cool surprises. And we'll be able to give a much more crystal clear view of all of the things that are coming over the next 18 months. And that brings us to the end of what we can show for this roadmap. So again, here is your timeline. So in case you forget or want to remember anything as to what's coming out overall, it's right there for you.
So we are still waiting for Ahsoka for the Republic. To tyle będzie w tym roadmapie, bo Marvel już to pokazywał. Zamiast ostatniej gry wzięliśmy remis, ponieważ jesteśmy już dosyć zmęczeni. Mój przeciwnik również był zmęczony. Ja tak spojrzałem na jego listę, on ma Palpatina z Dark Trooperami. Nie ma szans, żeby u kimś z jednym impaktem cokolwiek tam zrobił, żebym wygrał te gry. Dostałbym table'a to także pierwszy, bo po prostu Skirmish tak wygląda. Więc powiedziałem, że jeśli chce, to możemy od razu wpisać, że mnie stablował, bo po prostu nie mam szans tego wygrać. On powiedział, że w sumie też jest zmęczony, że w sumie też nie ma troszkę siły, żeby tego grać, więc zaproponował remis po 9 tiketów. Ja powiedziałem spoko. I wzięliśmy sobie po prostu po 9, także Skirmish się tak kończy 1-1-1, wszystkiego porówno. Koniec końców udało mi się wziąć jakiś remis, ale też mówię, fajnie, że udało się tikety zgarnąć. Skirmish tak Skirmish, no ciężko go ocenić jako grę, bo ta gra była raczej, nie wiem, ona chyba projektowana pod 800, więc po prostu było takie pogranie dla zabawy tych dwóch gier. Już mówię, jestem na totalnym zmęczeniu. Przez te 2 dni zjadłem tylko bułkę, batonika i dzisiaj jakieś owoce, także ja jeszcze muszę skoczyć sobie coś zjeść. Bo to mówię, wczoraj praktycznie nic nie jadłem, cały dzień był zajęty i tak wyszło, więc dzisiaj sobie pojem trochę więcej. I w tym w sumie raporcie takim króciutkim ze Skirmisha to już będzie wszystko, udało się zgarnąć. Jedna wygrana to 10, 19 i 8, jeśli dobrze liczę 27 tiketów. Tak, 27 tiketów, także jestem naprawdę zadowolony. I możecie się spodziewać, że będzie jakiś tam mały giveaway na coś z Wordsów, ale to tak tylko zapowiadam. Kiedy będzie, zobaczymy, tak? Na razie muszę trochę odpocząć i nacieszyć się tym, że udało się osiągnąć naprawdę dobre miejsce. Wczoraj byłem załamany troszkę, bo wiadomo, ambicje były bardzo wysokie, ale 15 miejsce jest naprawdę dobre koniec końców. Dobra, dzięki za oglądanie, zachęcam do stawienia w górę subskrypcji na kanale oraz odwiedzenia mojego fanpage'a na Facebooku i na jego Instagrama. Wszystkie linki macie w opisie. Dzięki, do następnego filmu.